Hi, I'm Gaz, the Mini Painting Punk, and in this video I'm going to be using Mantic's Kings of War Giant and the spare parts from the Age of Sigmar Mega-Gargant to make a Warstomper Mega-Gargant. So here's the Mega-Gargant that I built out of the box. I went with the Kraken Eater variant, built slightly differently than it's depicted on the box art. So here I've laid out all the parts that I might potentially use. That's all the parts from Mantic's kit and all the Warstomper spare parts left over from building the Mega-Gargant. Basically, my aim for this project is to have as many of the visual cues there from the original model so that when you look at it, there's no doubt in your mind that that's a Warstomper. If you saw my comparison video, you'll know that these two kits actually scale really well together, except maybe the hands and the feet. The Games Workshop feet are a lot bigger and the hands are bigger, and they also have only 3 fingers and a thumb like the Simpsons. So I'm either going to have to use the Games Workshop parts, or if I want to use the Mantic parts, adjust them so that they fit the Games Workshop scale and aesthetic. I decided that I really liked the club on the Mantic Giant, so rather than keeping that club and swapping out the hand for the Games Workshop hand, I decided the easiest way to do it would be to sculpt a hand from green stuff. So all I did with this was I took some green stuff and just built over the hand that was already there and made a hand that looked a lot more like the Games Workshop Mega-Gargant hand. Now, I don't consider myself to be a particularly accomplished sculptor, but by using the other hand as a reference, I've managed to achieve something that looks pretty close to the Games Workshop Mega-Gargant hand, and I'm really happy with the result. So the next thing I need to sort out is the feet. I've actually got 2 spare feet from the Mega-Gargant kit, and the sizes are really quite different, so I'm gonna take the feet off of the Mantic ankles and just replace them with those big honking Games Workshop feet. So after chopping the Mantic feet off and attaching the ankles to the giant figure, I want to make sure that, because it's quite a heavy model and there's going to be a lot of weight on these feet, I want to make sure that they fit snugly and that they are a nice tight fit. So I'm going to use my Dremel to just hollow out the feet a little bit, just so those Games Workshop feet sit in there nice and snug with a nice tight fit that's going to be able to hold the weight of the model. I decided for his left arm I was going to use the leftover club hand from the Mega-Gargant kit. This way I could have him dual wielding clubs, which seems pretty cool to me, and I did it just the same way as I attached the feet, so just chop the original hands off and use my Dremel tool just to create a nice little dip in there for it to sit firmly in. Now before I attach the arms, I wanted to get the head sorted. I wanted to use the neck of the original model as well because it attaches to the head really nicely. So I just used my Dremel tool to cut off the Mantic Giant neck and just shape it so that the Mega-Gargant neck and head sat on there really snugly. So with the head held securely with these fetching elastic bands while the plastic glue dries, I decided to pin the arms. The right arm especially, with that big Mantic club, it is really heavy and I didn't really trust the glue itself would hold the weight. So all I did to pin it was I just drilled a small hole and I took the ends off some broken off drawing pins and I just used them to pin the arms in place just so that they could hold the weight. With that done, he's looking pretty close to complete. There's a few gaps I want to fill in with green stuff. So his right ankle, there's a little gap left there, which I'm just going to use some green stuff just to maybe extend the wraps around his ankles just to cover that. I also wanted to integrate the pelt from the Mantic Giant kit in there on the shoulders. That looks really nice. But as well use the horns from the Warstomper kit just to add another visual cue in there to say that this is definitely a Warstomper. So I cut the horns in half and glued them either side of these little wooden planks on the pelt, and it's looking really good. I just want to do some green stuff work just to add some fur in to complete the stuff around his neck, and also just to blend those horns in with the rest of the pelt. I did this with a really simple method, just using my sculpting tool just to pull down, starting from the bottom, little spikes of fur, and then moving up until eventually you filled the whole thing and you have something that looks kind of like fur. And with that done, he's pretty much complete, at least to the level I can get it to before painting. There's some extra details I want to add. There's still some bits of Warstomper stuff on the sprues that I do want to add to the model, but that's all going to be best added after painting. Stuff like this belly plate that's made of shields and the little loincloth hanging from it, that's going to look really good on the model, but it's just going to get too in the way of painting for now. So I'm just going to stick it on with a bit of blue tack just so you can see what it looks like. And for those of you wondering how it stacks up to the Mega-Gargant, with the Games Workshop feet on there, he actually stands a little bit taller. Though if you take into account the fact that his legs are straight and the Mantic Giant seems to have slightly better posture, I would actually say that those heights match up pretty spectacularly. I'll be painting those over the coming weeks, that and the Games Workshop Mega-Gargant. If you want to see those painted, then give me a follow on Instagram or Facebook at MiniPaintingPunk, or Twitter at MiniPaintPunk, and they'll be up, I want to say, in the next couple of weeks, but I really want to take my time with these and make sure I get them spot on, so maybe a couple of weeks is being a bit optimistic. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. My next video, well, let's just say I've still got some Gargant parts kicking around and I'm going to milk this box for all it's worth. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.